I noticed him on a Tuesday. Not because he was strange. Because he wasn't. Every morning at 7:42, I sit in the third seat from the back on the left side of the train. Same carriage. Same position. It's not assigned, but in 2 years no one has ever taken it. Routine becomes invisible ownership. That Tuesday, someone was sitting there. He looked normal. Mid-30s. Dark coat. Reading a newspaper, which already felt outdated. I hesitated for half a second, then sat across from him. He didn't look up. The train moved. At the next stop, I realized something odd. He hadn't entered at my station. He was already there when I boarded. That seat is empty when the train arrives. Always. I told myself I just hadn't noticed. The next morning, I arrived earlier. 7:38. The carriage was nearly empty. I walked straight to my seat. He was already there. Same coat. Same newspaper. Folded exactly the same way. He didn't look at me. I felt irritation rise. "It's my seat," I almost said. But that would sound insane. So I sat across from him again. At 7:45, the train passed the river. At 7:46, it entered the tunnel. At 7:47, the lights flickered. For less than a second. When they came back on, he was looking directly at me. And smiling. Not wide. Just slightly. Like he had been waiting. I looked away immediately. My pulse quickened. I checked my phone. 7:47. I glanced up again. He was reading. Like nothing had happened. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. The smile wasn't friendly. It wasn't threatening either. It was knowing. The third morning, I changed carriages. I boarded 2 cars ahead. Different seat. Different side. I relaxed slightly. Until the train reached the second stop. The door opened. And he stepped in. He walked down the aisle slowly. Didn't scan the seats. Didn't search. He walked directly to the seat across from me. And sat. Without looking up. My throat went dry. That wasn't coincidence. The train moved again. 7:45. River. 7:46. Tunnel. The lights flickered. Longer this time. When they came back on, the carriage was empty. Except for him. And me. The windows were black. Not showing the tunnel. Just black. He folded his newspaper carefully. Placed it beside him. Then finally spoke. "You're early today," he said calmly. My voice barely worked. "What? You weren't in your seat." "It's not my seat," I snapped quickly. He tilted his head slightly. "It is." The word echoed oddly. Like the carriage was larger than it appeared. "I don't know you," I said. He nodded slowly. "Not yet." My heart pounded. The train wasn't moving anymore. But I hadn't felt it stop. The doors were closed. No announcements. No conductor. "You missed your stop," he continued. I didn't. He looked at me carefully. "You did." The windows flickered briefly. For a split second. I saw something outside. Not tracks. Not tunnel. A platform. Empty. And on the wall behind it, a sign with today's date. 5 years from now. The lights flickered again. The normal carriage returned. Passengers back in their seats. Noise. Movement. The train rolling forward. He was reading again. As if nothing had happened. My stop approached. I stood quickly. He didn't look up. As the doors opened, I stepped out. Just before they closed, I turned. He was staring at me again. No smile this time. Just waiting. That night, I checked the train schedule. My train doesn't stop in a tunnel. Ever. The next morning. 7:42. I boarded. My seat was empty. Relief flooded me. I sat down quickly. The train moved. At 7:45, we passed the river. At 7:46, we entered the tunnel. The lights flickered. And when they came back on, I was sitting across from myself. Wearing a dark coat. Holding a newspaper. Smiling slightly. Waiting for me to notice. I couldn't move. Across from me, I was sitting perfectly still. Same haircut. Same scar above the eyebrow from when I fell off my bike at 12. Same tired crease near the mouth. I folded the newspaper slowly. Carefully. Like I had practiced the movement thousands of times. The rest of the carriage was empty. Again. No conductor's voice. No screech of tracks. Just stillness. "You're early today," he said. My voice. Calm. Measured. "I'm not supposed to be here," I whispered. He tilted his head slightly. "That's what I said the first time too." My heart pounded violently. "What is this?" I demanded. "A loop," he replied. The word felt wrong in my ears. "A loop of what?" He smiled faintly. "Choice." The windows darkened again. Instead of the tunnel, I saw something else. An office. My office. 5 years older. My desk larger. My name on the glass wall behind it. But I looked, hollow. The version of me in the reflection didn't smile. Didn't move. Just stared at the door. "Do you like it?" he asked. "What?" "The future." The image shifted. Now I saw a small apartment. Boxes half unpacked. Empty. No photos. No signs of anyone else. "You get everything you planned," he said calmly. Promotion. Stability. Predictability. The word hit hard. Predictability. "That's not bad," I muttered. "No," he agreed. "It's safe." The train shuddered slightly. The air felt thinner. "But you don't change," he continued. "You keep taking this seat. Every day. Same time. Same path. That's normal." He leaned forward slightly. "Normal isn't the same as alive." The windows flickered again. This time I saw something else. A platform. A different one. Sunlight instead of tunnel darkness. A train arriving from the opposite direction. People boarding it. Laughing. Moving. Unpredictable. "That one doesn't stop here," he said quietly. "Why not?" "Because you don't choose it." My throat tightened. "What happens if I stay?" I asked. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he slid the newspaper across the aisle toward me. The headline read, "Local man dies of sudden cardiac arrest on morning commute." The photo underneath. Me. 5 years older. Eyes tired. Suit slightly wrinkled. Age, 38. I dropped the paper immediately. "That's not real." He didn't argue. "Neither is this," he replied softly. The carriage lights flickered violently. The air felt unstable. "You don't die because of fate," he continued. "You die because you never step off." "Step off what?" He looked directly into my eyes. "The routine." Silence swallowed everything. I realized something then. The first day I saw him. He was me from further ahead. Waiting. Watching. Seeing if I would notice. If I leave the seat, I asked slowly, what happens? He smiled faintly. You won't see me again. That should have comforted me. Instead, it terrified me. The train jolted suddenly. Movement returned. Passengers reappeared. Noise. Conversation. The normal world. My stop was approaching. The announcement chimed overhead. I stood slowly. He didn't. Same time tomorrow, he asked quietly. The doors opened. I stepped onto the platform. The air felt different. Real. The doors began to close. In that split second, I made a choice. I stepped back. Not into my usual carriage. Into the one ahead. The one I had never taken before. The doors shut behind me. The train pulled away. I turned to look through the window. My old carriage passed slowly. And in the third seat from the back. He was gone. The seat was empty. The train continued forward. Not toward my usual stop. But toward something else. Something unfamiliar. And for the first time in 2 years, I didn't know exactly where I would get off. And that uncertainty felt terrifying. And alive.